Today we will be deploying a Django application with a simple SQLite database. First, we quickly create a droplet on DigitalOcean in Toronto on Ubuntu with a small SSD, connect with SSH and give it a name, something identifiable and easy to search for you later. Then just create the droplet and copy its IP address for later. Now let's open the terminal and SSH into this server as root. So SSH root at IP address. Say yes. And now we need to create a new user instead of root, and I'll call it an Ubuntu user. So add user Ubuntu, create a new password for this user, retype it, and then the rest you can just press enter and yes. And then let's add this user to sudo users. So add user Ubuntu sudo. Now we need to copy the authorized keys from root to Ubuntu. So copy root /.ssh to home Ubuntu. We need to change the owner on this hidden SSH folder from root to Ubuntu. So we use shown -rfv Ubuntu : and path to this SSH folder. Now we exit and SSH to the server using the Ubuntu user. Now we update the Ubuntu packages. Sudo apt-get update. Enter the password. And now let's install Apache. Now let's install firewall. Sudo apt-get install ufw. Next, we will allow both ports HTTP and HTTPS ATN 443 on this firewall using a profile called Apache full. So we sudo ufw allow Apache full. Then we also need to allow SSH. So we also gonna set default allow outgoing and default deny incoming. Now we enable the firewall and let's check the status of the firewall. So it will show both Apache full and the port 22 for SSH. Now let's just restart Apache. Next, we need to copy git repo, but first create the keys. So SSH keygen -t RSA, and then just follow the prompt. Now we need to copy these keys to root SSH as well. So from home Ubuntu SSH, we're gonna copy it to root. So now all the keys are copied to root as well. So let's just output this public key, cat ssh idrsa.pub, and then just copy it because we needed to put it into our GitHub. So in the GitHub, in settings, you add the new SSH key. You can call it whatever you want, and I call it Django update on DigitalOcean, and then add this SSH key. Now we need to copy the Git address to the repo that we need. So we just go to code and just copy this link. Go back to the terminal and then just git clone this repository to a folder called var www html. And in this folder, you'll see the default page for Apache. And here we're gonna git clone the repository. First, I wanna change the owner for this directory from root to Ubuntu. So ch own recursively to Ubuntu :Ubuntu on this project called culptech _git, and it changed the ownership. If you see the owner is Ubuntu right now, so cd into the project, and here you will see all the folders and files of your Django project. Now we need to install a virtual environment, venv, so Python 3 m venv, and now it shows that it's not installed yet, so I need to install it first. Sudo apt-get install and say yes. Now let's try install the virtual environment again. Python 3-m venv. Now if we look into the directory, it's installed. So let's source venv bin activating the virtual environment, and let's install using pip all the packages, and pip is installed already, so we go pip install recursively requirements.txt. So you should have this requirements.txt with all the packages of your Django application. I actually need to also copy some config variables from my laptop, so I CSP it from my laptop to Ubuntu server, and this is might be that you have a similar config file as well, which you use in your settings .py file. If you don't, then you don't actually need to do this. But because I have a separate file where I store the secret key and also some email variables, I need to copy it. Now I'm gonna move it from home to the project folder. So sudo mv from home config.json, and I'm gonna put it into my project folder. which is at var www html, and then path to the main project folder. And now I'll change directory into my project folder and modify the settings Python file. Now I will sudo nano into settings.py file to configure all the Django application settings. So now I'll make the settings.py to open that JSON file. So with open and then path join base directory and config JSON file, and I just call it config file, and then just open it as config variable. And then I also can comment out the old config file on my laptop. One thing that I'm not showing here is that you actually need to define the static root variable in your settings.py file, and I have already done that, so I'm not showing it here. Next, we're gonna change the owner on the database file, so sh-own, and then we're gonna use the Apache username, which is www-data. So here sh-own www-data, and again repeat this after colon, and then the name of the database and SQLite. Before I change the users on other folders, I actually need to collect static. So I need to type in Python 3, manage py, collect static. And then I will also change ownership to www-data to site, which is my static folder, and media, which is media folder. Next, we need to install the WSGI. So install libapache 2 mod WSGI Python 3. Now let's go to etc apache 2 and sites available. And here we're gonna copy the default one into Django configuration. So cp for copy this default one to django.conf. And now let's modify it using sudo nano django.conf. We'll need to add a few lines in the beginning. So one of them is script alias, so vsgi script alias to just main, and then you need to show the path to where the wsgi.py file is in your project. And here I show the path to that file on my own project. Next, we define WSGI daemon process. So here we will define the name for the daemon process, which I will call Django app. And then define Python path. which will be the path to your project. And then we'll define Python home, which is a path to a virtual environment, venv. Another line is WSGI process group, which will have the same name as your daemon process, which is Django app in this case. Then we need to add a few lines right before the closing of this virtual host. And this will be defining the static folder, the media folder, and WSGI. So one is alias static, and this is just defining the static. And I'll use the path to my static files, which I called site. So if you called your static root as static, then instead of site, you'll use static. Then directory, and here again the path to your static. And again, in my project, I called static root as site, so I'll have the name site instead of static. And here you say require all granted, and then close the directory. And then basically do the same thing for media. So media folder and then path to media folder in your project. And do the same with directory and path to media. Now type in require all granted and close the directory. Then you need to open directory to path to your wsgi.py file in your project. Then open tag files, wsgi.py file, and then again require all granted. Close the files tag. And then close the directory tag. And then just save this file and exit. Restart Apache with sudo service apache 2 restart. And then let's modify the Apache configuration itself. Let's first allow the module rewrite by sudo a2 nmod rewrite. Let's restart Apache again. And then let's open the Apache configuration by sudo nano etc apache 2 configuration. conf.conf. So here we need to find the directory with var www. And instead of allow override none, to allow override all, and then save and exit. So now let's inside the Django conf file. Sudo a2 inside django.conf and decide the default one. So sudo a2 decide default file. And then let's restart Apache again. And now everything should work. Let's see if it does. So we just copy the IP address and see if anything is working. So there's error which says that disallowed host. So that means that I didn't allow this host to be entered in the settings py file. So I need to go back and modify the settings py file and add the allowed hosts. So I'll sudo nano into the settings py file. And here I'll add the IP address to allowed hosts. I also delete the previous hosts' IP addresses. Now I'll save and exit and try to restart Apache again and see if it works. So now I go back to the website and it seems like it's working. Then I realized that there's still some errors, and the stack overflow just showed that I need to add this line into my Django.conf file. So I'll just go and sudo nano this Django configuration file. And also add this line, WSGI applications group global, and save and exit. So now I again restart Apache. And let's see if everything works now. So now I see that functionality is working. I can also test by logging in and trying to create a blog post. So test it and it's created, and then I can see if I can delete it. So everything seems to be working right now. So now I will get the HTTPS certificates for my server, and I will use Certbot to do that. And I will also configure my DNS on Google domains. So I actually didn't record some of this because I forgot to push the record button, but basically you have to go to the Certbot and choose Apache and then Ubuntu 20, because Ubuntu 20 is basically the same as Ubuntu 22, and see if you check this snapd, it's actually already pre-installed on Ubuntu, so you don't have to do that, but you can go to install Certbot, step 4, or you can first remove the Certbot in this step 3. So let's do that first. And then install Certbot. Mine will show that it's already installed because I have already did it. Then also do the prepare the Certbot command. So creating a link here. So this says it's already exists because I already did it. You also need to configure your DNS, and here I show you how I did it on Google Domains. You can stop the video and just check how I did it, or if you're using other services, you can try to do it on your own and just do something similar to Google Domains. And then you need to define the domains for your Certbot. So here I did a little bit of different, so I'll show you the command. So Certbot --apache-d domain name, and then -d with the domain name with the www. And then you need to follow the prompts and install those certificates. There are a few things that we need to change in Django configuration, so let's just go there and edit it. So sudo nano etc apache 2 sites available and django.conf. And here at the end you will see rewrite conditions. I want you to comment them out. And instead add this line, rewrite cond % curly brackets https close the curly bracket and off, and then save and exit. Now let's try dry run again and renew the Certbot. And everything seems to be working, so let's restart Apache, sudo service apache 2 restart. And now if you go to your website and try to access it by IP address, it's not going to work. So you have to actually go to your domain name, and that's where you'll see your project. And I hope everything is working. And thank you for watching this tutorial. If you want all the codes that I used in this video in printable form, you can find a link in the description box below. Thank you again. Bye.